Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers the First Amendment, lawful orders, and traffic stop frisks, and is brought to us by the Watchman's channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. Before we dive into the interaction, I want to give everyone a quick reminder to pick up your copy of the Civilian Rights Hand Guide. It's a thorough and comprehensive guide designed to help you understand your rights and navigate encounters with law enforcement confidently. This book is simple, easy to read, and packed with practical advice and real-world insights that anyone can use, whether you're preparing for the unexpected or just want to be better informed. This book covers everything you wish you had been taught in school about how to interact with the police, and puts it into one easily digestible resource. The Civilian Rights Hand Guide is now available as an ebook, and you can even read it for free if you're subscribed to the Kindle Select program. If you've ever found value in the content we create here, then you're going to find this guide incredibly useful. We spent a lot of time making sure that we crafted a book that would genuinely help people understand their rights and what to actually do during and after police interactions. It's available now exclusively on Amazon, and it's a great way to support what we do while arming yourself with knowledge. You can find a link in the description and pinned comment. Thank you for your support. Now, let's get back to the episode. In a video posted on February 9th, 2025, an Arkansas State Police trooper performed a traffic stop on a driver we will refer to as Mr. Watchman for an expired registration. The exact time, date, and location of this interaction is unknown, but the following encounter was captured on the trooper's dash cam.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Trooper Surratt with the State Police. The reason I got you stopped here is because you actually have an expired tag. Okay, just need to see your driver's license and your insurance, please. Is there a reason you're following me around? Okay. I have a body mic. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
You're recording it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Insurance. Yeah. I already know your registration is expired because your license plate. Well, it's just a little bit concerning, that's all.
How come? Aren't you a member of the public?
I am a member of the public.
Then why would you be concerned if someone's following you?
Well, because there's a lot of people that don't like law enforcement and they're out to hurt us. And I don't want to get
people got hurt around here besides Officer Carr?
Quite a few, actually.
Let's talk about it. When?
Apple.
Officer Apple?
Mm-hmm.
So what, I don't know where my insurance card is, but I think you can help me with that report.
That's fine. Give me just 1 second. I'll get you some paperwork. I'll get you out of here.
Retaliate.
It's expired. November of 2023. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It is. Yeah.
I have probable cause to make contact
You're
with
doing
you.
your job, man. I know you are. I know you made sure there was a reason you quit.
100%.
It's all good.
I'm just doing my job.
Ticket. Let's go.
Do me a favor, just go stand over by your car.
Stand right here in front of your car.
That's
with the
fine.
camera on.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
just stand right here.
I know what I'm allowed to do.
I'm out with 45.
Car and finish what you're doing. Please.
Okay. Keep your hands out of your pockets.
No.
Okay.
You want to pat me down?
I want you to keep your hands out of your pockets.
That's not a law. It's not a law.
Okay. Well, let me make sure that I do.
I'm going to set all these clips that I have
Perfect.
right here, so
Perfect. Just turn around and place your hands
I
on your
will
car.
pick that up.
Just turn around and just put your hands
No,
on your
I'll
car.
do it this way.
No, just turn around.
No,
I
I
don't
will
want
do
you
it
to
this
face
way.
me.
I can face you.
No.
I'm
For my
allowing you.
safety, I
I'm
want
allowing
you
you
to
to
turn
pat me down. So
Turn around and just face away from me. That's all I want, man. That's it.
this is my traffic stop. You understand that, right? This
Is it?
my traffic stop. It's
Is
not
it your traffic stop?
It is.
So you have blue lights?
I don't have anything
Stop
on-
turning around.
Don't put your
Don't
hands
turn around on me
sir.
like that, man.
Don't put your.
Sir.
You just felt me down,
Sir.
man.
I
Sir.
wasn't done.
You checked my
Hey,
pockets.
listen to me. Listen to
No,
me.
I don't have to listen. You stop talking
You
to me,
need to
please.
listen
the
to him.
traffic stop. It's his
You-
traffic stop.
You
Please
need
stop.
to listen to him and comply
You
to
patted
his
down my
instructions.
pockets. You patted
I just
down
wanna
my
make
pockets.
sure
You
that
patted
you're
down
not here to hurt me.
You
That's
just
it.
patted down my pockets where I had
That's
my
all I
hands
want.
in.
That's
and that's
fine.
what I allowed you to
But
do.
don't turn around
That's
on
what
me
I
like
allowed
that.
you to do. That's all right, man.
Okay.
Go write your ticket and let's move forward.
I wasn't even going to write you a ticket.
Okay, well then let's do what we're going to do.
Because I'm kind.
I did. All I got out was to see that, and I put my hands in my pockets because it's cold.
I
You said don't.
that.
I said I can. I said you are allowed to pat me down if you like, right? Right?
did.
I did allow you to do all that,
And
correct?
I wasn't done
okay.
with my pat down.
But you're only allowed to pat down the
No.
areas you're concerned about.
No, I'm only allowed to pat down from the outside.
Okay.
So your waistband, your outside
But my
pockets,
hands are in my pockets, so
your waistband,
do
your
you
outside
feel safe
pockets.
now? Do you feel safe now?
I do. Thank
Okay,
you.
then go back to your car and please finish your stop.
I
Please
absolutely
finish
will.
your stop.
I will.
Don't extend this. Please finish your stop.
So you're
Extend
making
it.
it extended.
What do you
while
mean?
not
You're
complying.
extending it by not going back there and handling what we need to do
Okay.
so I can be free on my way. You're extending your stop right now.
I'm not. I'm talking to you
I don't need to talk to you.
because you got out of your car.
Car to look at my tag, yes.
Okay. All
Yes, I
right.
did. I asked you when you were walking away, can I get out and look?
You did not.
I did. You just didn't respond to me.
Okay.
I yelled out the window. You didn't hear me. That's your deal, not mine.
That's fair.
Please handle your business so
Oh.
we can be allowed on our way.
Absolutely. Just hang out here then. Don't move.
I don't need you to give me directives, man. I don't need you to give me directives. Just get in your car and handle what you need to handle, please. Don't scowl at me like that. You work for me, buddy. Don't scowl at me. Oh, yeah, you do. Who pays you?
Not you.
Who pays you?
Arkansas State Police.
Okay, well, then that's who you get your money from. It's us citizens. So quit scowling at
Pay
us.
taxes too.
Okay, good for you. You pay your own check then. Because you
Okay.
work for us. So stop scowling, go back, do what you need to do, but quit looking at me like that. Because
And
it's
what?
rude.
And what?
It's rude.
The way you're talking to me is very rude.
No, it's not.
You pointing your finger in my face is rude. You not listening to my
Is your-
partner
is your
very
body
rude.
cam on?
Absolutely.
Good, good. Because
Yeah.
it's not rude that you're sitting here staring at me.
Oh, I'm not allowed to look at you?
I don't care if you look at me, you're staring me down trying to be a tough dude.
No, I'm
Quit.
not.
Yeah, you did. You walked up like a tough dude.
No, I did
Yeah,
not.
you did. Trying to tell me to quit talking and
Because
listen
you
to
were
him.
not listening to
don't,
him.
Well, don't tell. Don't.
This is a traffic stop.
Okay.
You're supposed to listen to our instructions.
I don't have to listen to your instructions.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Absolutely.
I can go to jail for not listening to your instructions when they're lawful instructions. When they're not lawful instructions, I don't have to listen to them. So when you tell me to be quiet, you're telling me I don't have a First Amendment. So you need to figure out what you're doing.
No.
Yeah.
You know the law.
Mr. Watchman argues that when the trooper told him to be quiet and comply with his partner's orders, he violated his First Amendment rights. As we have discussed many times here on ATA, the First Amendment robustly protects an individual's right to voice disagreement or criticism of police officers, even during a traffic stop. In fact, in the 1987 case of City of Houston versus Hill, the Supreme Court held that, quote, the First Amendment protects a significant amount of verbal criticism and challenge directed at police officers. That said, an individual's First Amendment rights during a traffic stop are not absolute, and officers maintain authority to control the scene for safety and to ensure the traffic stop's mission is carried out. This means that an officer can lawfully give commands that are related to officer safety or the stop's objectives, and the citizen must comply with lawful orders. For instance, police can generally direct a driver to produce a license and registration, exit the vehicle or remain inside it, and refrain from movements that could jeopardize safety, such as reaching into pockets or rummaging through the car. Accordingly, if a driver's speech or conduct begins to actively interfere with the officer's performance of duties, a court would likely find that the officer could direct the individual to stop that interference. In the 1972 case of Colton versus Kentucky, the Supreme Court held that the arrest of an individual who failed to leave the scene of a traffic stop where a state policeman was issuing a traffic ticket and continued to engage the issuing officer in conversation did not violate the First Amendment, despite the fact that the defendant was engaging in speech, concluding that, quote, we have little doubt that Colton's conduct in refusing to move on after being directed to do so was not, without more, protected by the First Amendment. Now, although this case involved a third party interfering with an officer's investigation, the principle expounded in the case is clear. The First Amendment does not give citizens the right to ignore lawful orders to engage in otherwise protected speech. However, there are serious questions as to whether the orders the troopers gave Mr. Watchman were lawful, and we will discuss this issue at further length later in this episode.
Right?
You know the law.
Do you know the law?
Do you know the law?
I'm asking you a
Do
question.
you know the law?
Absolutely.
Okay, then do your
I do it
job
for a
and do
living.
the law.
What do you think I'm doing?
Okay, move on, man.
I'm
Quit
here
staring
with
me
you.
down.
I'm here with you,
Quit
buddy.
staring me down.
No. I like the way you look.
Bully. I can guarantee you're a bully.
A bully?
I can feel it.
A bully?
Yeah?
What are you?
What does that make
you? A
you?
citizen of the United States.
What does that make you?
A citizen of the United States of America. Can you please quit being so jumpy? You're scaring me how jumpy you are with the gun on you, man.
You're scaring me.
Why did you jump so fast?
Because I don't know what you're about to do.
Pick up what I dropped.
Like, man. Okay, and I was supposed to know that. Well, how? Can I read your mind?
You guys are a piece of work. You know
that?
Hey,
Benjamin, so are you.
Here's this for you. All that is just a warning for the expired time of proof of insurance, okay? For failure to present, alright?
So it's a ticket or a warning?
It's a warning. No, it's not a ticket. You don't have a court date.
Thank you.
It does not show up on your record or anything like that. It's just saying
this has an incident number on it?
No, because there's no incident here.
Well, you stopped me. So
there's a warning.
So there's a warning number will tie to you guys' body.
Correct.
And your names are all on it and all that. Walk through.
Correct.
Who's the other officer with you today?
I don't know his name. I'm not at liberty to discuss this, sir.
Public figures don't tell.
Just like you, I don't answer questions. Do not walk up on my partner like that. Get in your car.
I'm not walking up on anybody. I'm walking across the parking lot, man.
I'm going to ask you one last time. Get in your car.
I don't have to leave, first of all. I don't have to leave. That's not a lawful order.
Well,
that's not a lawful order. I'm going to step back.
Step back.
That's not a lawful order.
Step back.
You gave me this. Once this is in, it's done.
Then when you approach another,
I didn't approach him. I walked that way.
There's no reason for you to walk towards our cars. There's guns in our cars.
Have fun. You just said you did. Remember, he just said he had a lawful right to tell me I couldn't walk up. You guys are a piece of work. You don't know the law. You don't know the law. None of you do. I've worked with you guys quite a bit now, and none of you know the law. You all think you know the law. I'm giving you a lawful order not to walk up on my car. I just walked up on your car. I just walked up on it, man. What's the lawful order? Where's your lawful order? See, I told you, there's no lawful order, is there?
After issuing a warning to Mr. Watchman for the expired registration, the troopers begin to walk towards their vehicles. Mr. Watchman takes a few steps in line with one of the troopers towards the cruisers, and the other trooper rushes back and orders Mr. Watchman not to, quote-unquote, walk up on his partner. The trooper then orders Mr. Watchman to return to his vehicle, step back, and to not walk towards the police vehicles. And Mr. Watchman argues that these are not, quote-unquote, lawful orders. As we discussed earlier in this episode, officers generally have the authority to issue commands regarding a detainee's physical movements during a traffic stop. However, as this Supreme Court explained in the 2015 case of Rodriguez versus United States, a traffic stop's, quote, tolerable duration is determined by the seizure's mission, which is to address the traffic violation that warranted the stop and attend to related safety concerns. Authority for the seizure ends when tasks tied to the traffic infraction are, or reasonably should have been, completed. Therefore, the court held that, now quoting again, a traffic stop becomes unlawful if it is prolonged beyond the time reasonably required to complete the mission of issuing a warning ticket. In the 2007 case of Brenlin versus California, the Supreme Court determined that, quote, a person is seized by the police when the officer, by means of physical force or show of authority, terminates or restrains his freedom of movement. However, the court clarified that, now quoting again, a police officer may make a seizure by a show of authority and without the use of physical force, but there is no seizure without actual submission. Otherwise, there is at most an attempted seizure so far as the Fourth Amendment is concerned. Here, the troopers had concluded the stop by issuing a warning, and by giving additional commands, they effectively continued the encounter through a show of authority, which Mr. Watchman could argue was an attempt to unlawfully extend his detention without reasonable suspicion, as he did not appear to have engaged in any suspicious behavior or posed a legitimate safety concern.
Where's the lawful order, man?
Will you give me a chance to explain it?
Go for it. Explain it.
Just stop right there.
I'll stop right here so you feel safe.
Okay.
Because you're pretty jumpy.
Okay. Allow me a chance to explain it, and don't interrupt me, okay? And I'll be polite about it. As long as you treat me with respect, I'll treat you with respect.
I did treat you with respect. You walked up and started treating me without respect. From the start. We can go back. We'll watch it. It's all in video.
Okay. Are you gonna listen to me?
I'm just not gonna let you tell me I didn't treat you with respect, because I did. I treated the other guy with respect.
Okay. We can agree to disagree. Whatever.
No, there's no disagree. It's all on video.
We can agree to disagree.
It's all on video. We don't have to disagree. It's all on video.
Okay. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Are you done? Are you ready for me to explain
I've
it?
been waiting for you, man. Just start talking.
Okay.
Instead
So
of playing.
my issue with the entire traffic stop, my partner over there told you to turn around so he could pat you down, right? Because you got out of, listen, you can talk when I'm done, okay? He asked you to put your hands on the trunk of the vehicle there, okay, which you disobeyed, which that is a lawful order. Well, then go to law school.
When he tells me he's going to pat me down, but I offered him.
No.
I offered. Yeah, I did.
It's not an option at that point.
It is an option at that point.
No, it's not. He's a lot nicer than I am.
Searched and seizure.
Listen,
that is my right.
you're being seized once the blue lights are coming on.
You're sure about that?
100%.
And you can just pat me down for no reason.
He had a good reason to pat you down.
What did he have a reason? I had my hands in my pocket.
You stepped out of the vehicle.
I had my hands in my pocket.
You stepped out of the vehicle without him knowing, and started walking to his car. That's a sign. That's a sign of a threat.
No, it's not.
Okay.
If you're threatened by someone walking to the back of their car, you need to get a different job.
No. That's not how it goes. That's not how it works.
Saying, if you're scared of somebody walking to the back of their car, then that's a threat. You need to get a different job.
No.
And words out of my
The
mouth.
facts are that you the facts stop. The facts
told me I didn't have either.
the facts
Here we go.
the facts of you getting out of the vehicle without being told to do so, we treat as a threat. Because we are unsure of why you're getting.
Stay in the car.
Do what?
What law says I have to stay in the car?
It's common knowledge, man.
It's not common knowledge.
Yeah,
It's not a common law is what you're trying to use. And it's not common law.
I didn't say it was a law. I said it's common knowledge.
You don't have no right.
Unless I order you out of the car.
Laws. You only handle laws, sir. That's your job. You can't say my feelings. This is how I feel.
I don't disagree with you.
You have laws you abide by.
Correct.
Abide by your laws, not your feelings.
It's the state law.
Mountain
State law.
No 20 on the white.
State law.
Early 2000s.
I'm not saying the state law says that you can't get out of your vehicle. But the fact that you got out free-willingly and started walking towards... We don't know.
Ask him right there. He's right there. Did I threaten him?
Now, I'm just telling you what it looks like.
Look at my license plate as soon as he looked up. So, there's no threat there, man.
Mr. Watchman argues that the trooper was only authorized to frisk his pockets because he consented to the search, and the other trooper argues that the trooper was within his authority to perform a full frisk because Mr. Watchman was perceived as a threat. As established in the infamous Supreme Court case of Terry versus Ohio, an officer has the authority to conduct a frisk or pat-down of a detainee's outer clothing during a detention only if they have reason to believe that they are dealing with an armed and dangerous individual. The court explained that, quote, the officer need not be absolutely certain that the individual is armed. The issue is whether a reasonably prudent man in the circumstances would be warranted in the belief that his safety or that of others was in danger. And in determining whether the officer acted reasonably in such circumstances, due weight must be given not to his inchoate and unparticularized suspicion or hunch, but to the specific reasonable inferences which he is entitled to draw from the facts in light of his experience. Some factors that can give rise to the reasonable suspicion necessary to support a non-consensual Terry frisk include a weapon-sized bulge in the suspect's clothing, erratic and aggressive conduct by the suspect, the wearing of inappropriately oversized clothing that could be used to hide a weapon, hand movements under a jacket or shirt, sudden movements toward a pocket or another place where a weapon could be concealed, and the refusal to remove a hand from a pocket. For instance, in the 2011 case of United States versus Dancy, the First Circuit Court of Appeals upheld the constitutionality of a frisk after a suspect thrust his hand into the right pocket of his jacket and started to move away from an officer in a manner that suggested that he was putting his hand on a gun. Similarly, in the 2006 case of People versus White, the Supreme Court of Illinois found that a frisk was justified when an individual continued to put his hands in his pockets in defiance of several orders not to do so, and the pockets were large enough to conceal a weapon. Here, the only reasons the trooper cited for frisking Mr. Watchman were his exit from the vehicle, which is not illegal and was not in violation of any order to remain in the vehicle, and and the fact that he put both his hands in his pockets during cold weather. Once again, not in defiance of any orders to keep his hands out of his pockets. As such, Mr. Watchman would have a strong argument that the troopers did not have the lawful authority to frisk him non-consensually. In that case, the trooper could only lawfully search him based on consent, which Mr. Watchman gave, but explicitly limited to his pockets. Under Rule 11.3 of the Arkansas Rules of Criminal Procedure, quote, "A search based on consent shall not exceed, in duration or physical scope, the limits of the consent given." Likewise, in the 2001 case of Howe versus State, the Court of Appeals of Arkansas held that an officer violated the Fourth Amendment when he conducted a search that exceeded the scope of a suspect's consent by removing a container from a suspect's pocket that did not immediately appear to be a weapon when the suspect had only consented to a pat-down for weapons. Accordingly, if a court concluded that the troopers did not have reasonable suspicion to conduct a non-consensual frisk of Mr. Watchman's entire person, it is highly likely that it would find that the trooper's order that Mr. Watchman, quote-unquote, turn around to be frisked was unlawful and beyond the scope of the consent granted by Mr. Watchman when he offered for the trooper to search his pockets.
Why are you being so? You're being so hard-headed.
Everybody get out.
You're being so hard-headed.
No, you don't want to listen. You just want to know what you think.
No.
You never want to say, hey, the public is right, because you guys have such a bad ego thing that you're just always right. Say it. I'm always right. Because that's how you feel. I know it. I see it in your face right now.
No.
You're smiling because you know.
No, I'm smiling because this is ridiculous.
When you go on a stop,
I'm smiling because this is ridiculous.
You're always right. What's ridiculous?
That's why there's their court system.
What's ridiculous is that your man just told me he had a lawful thing to tell me I couldn't walk around the cars, and I did, and nobody did anything. Because why? You guys don't have laws. You only go by laws, but you tell people a lot of to make them think you have more control than you do. You know what I'm talking about. You guys know you use lingo that makes you seem like you have more control than you do. Like, I'm giving you a lawful order, which isn't a lawful order. It just happened on a stop for a tag, man. A lawful order, a pat down where I got shoved against my truck because I turned around after he patted me down in my pockets where I allowed him to pat me down at. So don't give me this bullshit that you guys have all these rights, all these laws that you can tell me not to walk around a car or not to get out or not to stand here or not to stand there. I can do whatever I want. I'm a free American.
You are.
The only time you have something against me is when you can hand me that piece of paper or haul me to jail. So he handed it to me, and once that's done, it's done. The stop is over. It's court case. I can show
there is
you
a court
after
case.
Court case
That there is
you guys
a there is a
handed
court
the
case.
paperwork in, and then you tried to do something else, and it got thrown out of court because the traffic stop is over once you hand me the citation.
Unless there's some other probable cause.
Okay, what other probable cause do you have?
I'm not saying there was any.
Well, then don't give me directives. If I want to walk around the car, I can walk around the car. That's what I'm saying. You don't have no laws to back that.
Okay, well,
but
go home, lay your head on your bed, and sleep good tonight. Okay.
What's that supposed to mean?
Just go home, lay your head on your pillow,
I'm not going
and
home.
sleep
I'm
well.
following you the rest of the day.
No, you won't, because then you will be arrested because that's harassment.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Hey, you know what?
That's a lawful order.
It's
that's
my
a lawful
legal
order.
right.
After the encounter, Mr. Watchman obtained the dash cam footage of the encounter and shared it on his YouTube channel. Very little information is available about this interaction, and it is unknown if Mr. Watchman has filed a complaint or intends to take additional action. Overall, the Arkansas State Troopers get a C-, because although they ultimately ended the interaction relatively peacefully, they also demonstrated fundamental misunderstandings regarding their authority to search and issue certain orders, appeared to be excessively fearful of Mr. Watchman for no apparent reason, and maintained a hostile and unprofessional attitude throughout the encounter. The trooper who initiated the stop exhibited a degree of restraint by opting to issue a warning for the expired registration rather than a citation. At face value, this decision could be interpreted as an exercise in discretion and good judgment. However, the positive aspects of the initial approach were quickly overshadowed by the subsequent actions of both troopers. Neither officer made any meaningful attempt to de-escalate the situation situation, and the secondary trooper in particular adopted an unnecessarily combative posture from the outset. His aggressive tone and confrontational demeanor only served to inflame an otherwise manageable interaction. The refusal of the primary trooper to provide Mr. Watchman with the name of his fellow officer, while not unlawful, was emblematic of a broader lack of transparency. Officers are not statutorily required to identify their colleagues upon request, but professionalism demands a higher standard than the bare minimum set by law. In a climate where public trust in law enforcement is already strained, the deliberate withholding of basic identifying information can only be interpreted as evasive and defensive, particularly when the officer in question is exhibiting hostile behavior. Perhaps the most troubling aspect of this encounter was the decision by the primary trooper to continue issuing commands to Mr. Watchman after the conclusion of the traffic stop. Once the warning was issued and the stop formally ended, Mr. Watchman was no longer being detained. At that point, the troopers had no lawful authority to control his movements absent either voluntary cooperation or a new independent basis for reasonable suspicion. The troopers' persistence in asserting control where none existed not only undermined their credibility, but also edged dangerously close to unlawful detention. It is worth emphasizing that the peaceful outcome of this interaction does not retroactively justify the conduct that preceded it. The approach of the troopers was not only unprofessional, but also legally questionable in several respects. And had the interaction escalated further, their decisions could have easily become the subject of formal legal scrutiny. Mr. Watchman gets a B- because although he was confident and relatively correct in his assertions, he failed to invoke his right to remain silent, granted consent to an unnecessary search, and also maintained a relatively hostile attitude throughout the encounter. Not only did Mr. Watchman talk excessively throughout the interaction, rather than invoking his right to remain silent, but he also granted consent to a limited search without being ordered or even requested to do so. While I understand that this may have served as Mr. Watchman's attempt to prove to the troopers that he was not armed, they had no reason to suspect that he was armed or dangerous in the first place, and granting unnecessary consent to searches can often cause more trouble than it is intended to alleviate, which was exactly what happened here. Although I don't necessarily fault Mr. Watchman for deciding to exit his vehicle and ensure that his tag was legitimately expired, I would certainly advise anyone else in a similar situation to remain inside the vehicle during any traffic stop unless the officers issue a direct order to exit. As mentioned in many previous episodes, a traffic stop is a detainment, and officers are well within their authority to control the movement of anyone involved in a traffic stop within reason. Unprompted movement, especially exiting the vehicle, is more likely to escalate the situation than resolve it. Mr. Watchman's approach may have been rooted in good intentions, but his execution lacked the restraint and awareness necessary to effectively navigate the legal dynamics of the stop. I commend Mr. Watchman for having the courage and conviction to stand up for his rights, but I would caution others in a similar situation to take a more measured approach. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic that you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to pick up your copy of the Civilian Rights Hand Guide from the links below.